There are different reasons why middle class matters. First of all, because they contribute in certain conditions to consolidate value for democracy and equity including. But also they play an important macroeconomic role by consolidating aggregate demands and therefore putting the condition for a more stable growth.
The question is, what's the role that the middle class plays in economic development? In fact, in the recent economic crisis, Latin America has done much better than in past crises and better than in other parts of the world. And one of the explanations that has been offered is that middle class consumption, domestic demand, has been one of the factors that has made these economies more resilient. So we're interested in knowing what's the contribution that middle class Latin Americans make to economic development in the region. The middle class in Latin America doesn't necessarily correspond to stereotypical notions of what the middle class should be. Many people in the middle class have jobs in the informal sector, for example. Many people in the middle class don't own their homes or don't own major consumer durables. They're vulnerable to falling into poverty, and they need public policies to support their upward mobility.
Very often are people that work in the informal economy, are people that do not have very often formal training at school, did not have, that do not necessarily have a fridge or a car. We are speaking of a type of population that in certain cases has characteristics of poverty that are very evident. As such, the real issue is how to consolidate this middle sector and transform them into a real middle class.
Public policies can be put into place that protect people, whether they're poor people or vulnerable people in the middle class, from falling further into poverty, and that includes social protection policies like pensions, and they can put into place public policies in the area of education, which can be a very powerful lever for moving people up the social ladder. At this point, educational policies in Latin America don't do all that they can to help move people up the social ladder.
This crisis shows that many people that were capable to leave extreme poverty came back. Fortunately, not in the same proportion than 15 years ago. But still, other things are required, and in particular, access to quality public services and jobs.